Okay, today we will talk about the world ocean. First, I will ask a question. Do you know how much of the Earth is covered by the ocean?
70%.
Yes, that's right. Oceans cover about 70% of planet Earth's surface. Many people refer to planet Earth as the water planet. For this reason, Earth is just the right of distance from the Earth so that water can be liquid at the surface. Planets closer to the Sun have water mainly as vapor, and planets further away from the Sun have water mainly as ice. Earth has all three forms of water: vapor, liquid, and ice. Because of this, Earth is a unique planet, and the oceans are a unique part of its makeup. Next, I will ask a question. Do you know how many main oceans in the Earth?
I guess there are four oceans. There are Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, and Arctic Ocean, and the last one is Atlantic Ocean.
Great, that's right. You can see from this picture, there are main four oceans in the world. The first one is Atlantic Ocean. Near here, you can see here. And the second one is Pacific Ocean, and Indian Ocean, and the Arctic Ocean. I will introduce these four oceans separately. The Arctic Ocean is bounded by America on its eastern side, and European Africa on its America on its western side, and European and Africa on its eastern side. The part of the ocean north of the equator is often called the North Atlantic, and the part south of the equator is called the South Atlantic. These distinctions are important as each of these has a distinctively different circulation pattern. And also there is a famous phenomenon happened in this region. It is called PNA. This famous meteorological phenomenon can influence all of the world weather. The second one is Pacific Ocean here. The Pacific Ocean is bounded by Asia and Australia on its western side and America on its eastern side. The part of the ocean north of the equator is often called North Pacific, and the part south of the equator is called the South Pacific. These distinctions are important as each of these has a distinctively different circulation pattern, just like the Atlantic Ocean. In this region also have a famous phenomenon called ENSO. It is a combination of the phenomenons of El Nino and La Nina. When El Nino happens, the water near the equator in the Pacific Ocean becomes much more warmer than climatology. And when La Nina happens, the ocean temperature near the equator Pacific Ocean will be much cooler than climatology. These water anomalies will also influence the whole world. And another reason why this is important is because this phenomenon has a period of 2 to 7 years. It can seen as a factor, forecasting factor in the climate model. The third one is the Indian Ocean. Here you can see it is special because the main part of Indian Ocean is almost in the southern hemisphere. The The Indian Ocean is bounded by Africa on its western side and Australia on its eastern side. Most of Indian Ocean is below the equator and thus in the southern hemisphere. And there are also famous phenomenon here is called Indian Ocean monsoon, Indian monsoon. The monsoon is happened near here. This is the strongest monsoon system in the world. And the last one is the Arctic Ocean. To see this ocean circulation better, we can see this photo. This is the view from North Pole. You can see the entire Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean is at the center of a north polar view of planet Earth. It is almost entirely surrounded by Canada, Alaska, Russia, Scandinavia, and Greenland. The North Pacific connects with the Arctic Ocean through the Bering Sea and the Bering Strait. You can see from here Bering Sea and Bering Strait here to connect with the Arctic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean here. And this opening is very narrow. And the North Atlantic connects with the Atlantic Ocean through the areas between Greenland and Scandinavia. You can see Greenland here and Scandinavia. This region is connected with the Arctic Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. You can see it is a rather large opening compared with the Pacific Ocean. So now I have a question. Can you guess the iceberg is larger in the North Atlantic Ocean or in the North Pacific Ocean? Okay, I will answer this question. The larger part is in this region, North Atlantic Ocean, because this opening is very large, it's larger compared with this one. So most of the Arctic icebergs floating near the North Pacific become grounded before they get through the Bering Strait. But in the North Atlantic, many of these icebergs float into the shipping lanes of the North Atlantic and may cause problems here. You know, the famous sinking of the Titanic was from such a large iceberg, and since that, large accident has been North Atlantic ice patrol with warnings to ships in the areas where there may be dangerous icebergs. There is no such thing happened in the North Pacific simply because of its geography. And you know this is the view from the North Pole. So, do you want to see the view from the South Pole? Okay, this is the picture here. Some people consider the southern portion of the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans as another ocean they call the Antarctic Ocean. But since there is no easily defined land mass surrounding the Antarctic Ocean, it is usually not mentioned in geography. But this is a very interesting area here. you can see because there is no north and south boundary here, so the water can transfer the entire south pole, and the jets here and eddies can interact strongly. There are three fronts near here. One is subantarctic front, and another is polar front, and leads to a small front here. Very interesting area here. We will talk about this later in the next class. Thank you.